So if you're in the chat, and it doesn't just you don't just blur out of the chat, you might have seen today Chad and Leslie both posted something, and both posts were literally on what God gave me like a week ago, in the same vein, and so I love that. You guys have probably heard the quote, "With great power comes great responsibility," yes?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes, you've heard that? I'm a teacher, don't make me go into teacher mode. Right? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, there you guys are. All right, but I don't want you guys to think of like man's definition of power. I want you guys to think about that God-given power that we have. It dwells in us when we're doing what God has called us to do. And in Ephesians 3:20 it says, "Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we can ask or imagine." And let's be honest, when we see how far God has brought all of us on our recovery journeys,
Amen.
That's a pretty good imaginations of what God can do, right? Yeah. According to his power at work in us. And when we've seen this verse show up in so many ways, right? In small groups, as we lead, in large group, in step study, in fellowship time. So tonight, as we step into CR, the Lord just gave me a simple acrostic, right? We love acrostics here at CF and CR. The Lord just gave me a simple acrostic to encourage our hearts as we go forward, to set our minds, and to remind us to lead well. And it's the acrostic lead. And so the first one is love. Like that should be our first posture, right? There is not one person that walks in these doors that is not someone who Jesus died for.
Amen.
And whether that's someone that we've never met before, someone that is in our group, someone that we've known a long time, like every single person is someone that Jesus died for. And so love should be our first posture when we walk in the doors. The second is E, encourage. Always have a word of encouragement. Always. Even if you've had a terrible day, there's something good to find.
Amen.
And there's something good to share with somebody else. And then the second E is be an example, right? So we want to encourage, and then we want to lead by example. We always want to call our brothers and sisters up, not call them out. Because we know there's a lot of things in recovery. There are triggers and all those kind of things. And people walk in here with all kinds of stuff. And so we always want to be able to call them up. Say something that's going to encourage, and then also spur them on forward. The A is aware. We always want to look for that one. That person that is nervous, lonely. Maybe they haven't been here in a couple weeks and we've noticed. That person that looks like they're ready maybe for the next step, whether that's to start serving. I know we've been onboarding like so many people. That's like so amazing. I love it. I can remember when they asked me if I wanted to volunteer and I was like, oh, no, thank you. Literally every time Pastor Mike asked me to do something, I would say really fast and then I would move away from him. Didn't actually work, but... You feel better at the moment. And the last one is disciple. We're always a teacher and we're always a student, right? That's the nature of leadership. We always want to be sharing something maybe that we've learned, and we always want to be looking for things to learn. So we may have so many ideas about how to do that, but just as 2 Timothy 1:7 reminds us that we have the power from him, the love for others, and the self-control to motivate us to be submitted and surrendered to his will. Leadership is such a beautiful thing that God invites us to take part in, but it's also two-dimensional. As we lead, we're also submitted.
Yeah.
Jesus led, but he was always submitted to the will of his Father. It had a greater purpose. We all know him pouring out his heart and being like, listen, if there's another way. But at the end of the day, he knew what he had to do. And so sometimes we can be walking in here with our, right, because we're all on our own recovery journey still. So we can be walking in here with a lot. But when we walk in here to lead, we always want to remember that we're submitted and surrendered to the purpose why we're here. Because there's something
so good.
bigger. And again, we probably all have those stories where we walked in here maybe just like messed up from the day, just exhausted or something. And we have those moments where we're just like, oh, that's why I was here tonight.
Yeah.
Like that's my purpose. So as we lead, may we always remember to lead well, staying surrendered and submitted for a greater purpose. I love you all, and I'm so excited tonight to go forward and celebrate our recovery.